"We're moving without you," my stepmom announced at my graduation party. "This house is too good for someone like you," everyone laughed. I just said, "Have a safe move." What she didn't know was that I'd secretly bought the house last month. The next day, eviction notices arrived. The graduation party was supposed to be a celebration. After 4 years of computer science at Stanford, I'd graduated summa cum laude with job offers from 3 major tech companies, but standing in the backyard of the house where I'd lived for 8 years, watching my step-family celebrate my departure more than my achievement, I realized this party wasn't about my success. It was about their freedom. "Well, Alex," my stepmom, Patricia, said loudly enough for all the neighbors to hear, "I guess this is goodbye." I looked up from the barbecue where I'd been quietly grilling burgers for everyone else. "Goodbye." "Oh, didn't your father tell you?" Patricia's smile was sharp as a knife. "We've decided to downsize. This house is really too big for just the 3 of us, and, frankly, too expensive to maintain with someone who doesn't contribute to the household." My dad, who'd been married to Patricia for 8 years, nodded uncomfortably. He'd never been good at confrontation, which is probably why he'd let Patricia make most of the family decisions since they'd gotten together when I was 14, downsized to where I asked, "Oh, we're not downsizing." My stepsister Brittany chimed in from her lounge chair by the pool. "We're upgrading. Dad got a promotion, and we're moving to that new development in Westfield, you know, the one with a golf course. The houses there start at $800,000, my stepbrother, Kyle added, not looking up from his phone. Way too nice for someone who's going to be living on an entry-level salary. The neighbors, our neighbors, people I'd known for 8 years, laughed politely at Kyle's joke. Mrs. Henderson, from next door, actually nodded approvingly. It's probably for the best. Patricia continued warming to her audience. Alex has always been a bit different from the rest of us. It's time for him to learn to stand on his own 2 feet. But this is my home. I said quietly, "Your home." Patricia's laugh was like breaking glass. "Sweetheart. This is our home. You've been a guest here, and now it's time for you to find your own place." What Patricia didn't know, what none of them knew, was that I hadn't exactly been struggling financially during college while they thought I was just another broke student living off Dad's generosity. I'd actually been building something extraordinary. It started sophomore year when I developed a mobile app for tracking campus dining hall wait times, nothing fancy, just a simple interface that helps students avoid crowds. But when I showed it to my computer science professor, he suggested I patent the underlying queue prediction algorithm. That algorithm caught the attention of a logistics company who licensed it for $2.3 million. Suddenly, I wasn't broke anymore, but I was smart enough to keep quiet about it. I used that money to start developing more sophisticated logistics software. Working with a team of graduate students, I hired as contractors. Within 2 years, we've created a supply chain optimization platform that revolutionized how retail companies manage their inventory. When Amazon offered to buy the platform for $47 million, I was 21 years old, and secretly one of the youngest millionaires in Silicon Valley. But to my family, I was still just Alex, the quiet stepson who spent too much time on his computer. I'd been watching the house situation carefully through my lawyers. Dad and Patricia had been struggling financially for months. Dad's promotion, Patricia mentioned, was actually a lateral move with a small raise, and they'd been borrowing against the house to maintain their lifestyle. 3 months ago, when the bank started foreclosure proceedings, a mysterious buyer had stepped in with a cash offer above market value. That buyer was Phoenix Holdings LLC, one of my shell companies. Last month the sale had closed. Phoenix Holdings, which is to say I now own 2847 Oakwood Drive, the house where I'd lived since I was 14. "When are you planning to move?" I asked, taking another burger off the grill. 2 weeks. Patricia said, "We close on the new house next Friday." "That's cutting it close." "Oh, we'll be fine. The new owners are being very accommodating about timing." I smiled. "That's nice of them." "Yes. Well, some people understand what it's like to deal with family transitions." Kyle stood up from his lounge chair, stretching dramatically. "I can't wait to have my own bathroom again. No more sharing with a computer nerd, and I'll finally have a walk-in closet." Brittany added, "This place is so outdated." Dad hadn't said much during this conversation, which was typical. He'd learned long ago that it was easier to let Patricia make decisions than to argue with her, but he looked uncomfortable with how public this humiliation was becoming. "Alex," he said, quietly, "we should probably talk privately about your living arrangements." "What's to discuss?" Patricia interrupted. "He's 22 years old. He has a college degree. He has a job lined up. It's time for him to be independent." "I understand," I said. "Independence is important, exactly." Patricia beamed as if I'd finally gotten the point. "You'll thank us for this. Someday, nothing builds character like having to make it on your own." Mrs. Henderson, from next door, nodded again. "Patricia's absolutely right. These kids today expect everything handed to them. Some of us work for what we have." Kyle said, though he'd never held a job longer than 3 months, "Some of us understand the value of family." Brittany added, though she'd made it clear for years that she didn't consider me real family, I continued grilling burgers and listening to my step-family explain to the neighbors why I deserved to be kicked out. The irony was perfect. They were celebrating their escape from me while standing in my backyard eating food I'd bought, planning to move to a house they could only afford because I'd bought their current one. "Where will you go?" Mrs. Henderson asked me with what sounded like genuine concern. "I'll figure something out." I said, "Maybe you can find a nice apartment." Patricia suggested something small and affordable, good for a starter place. "That sounds perfect. You're taking this very well," Dad said, looking surprised. "What's the point in fighting it?" I shrugged. "You've made your decision." "See," Patricia said to the crowd, "I told you, Alex was mature enough to handle this. He understands that this is what's best for everyone." After the party ended and the neighbors went home, I helped clean up the backyard while my stepfamily went inside to continue planning their move. As I was putting away the lawn chairs, my phone buzzed with a text from my lawyer. "Eviction notices ready for delivery. Still want them served tomorrow?" I typed back yes, first thing in the morning. "Any special instructions? Make sure Patricia signs for hers personally."